All right, welcome guys to the Campus Fellowship Podcast. This is a podcast interview where we're going to highlight for you a student, someone whose life has been changed by the gospel. And we have Grace here with us today, who graduated from KSU recently.
Yep.
Great, on staff with the KSU staff.
Yep.
Sweet. My name is Jacob. I serve as the Executive Director for the Campus Fellowship Network that aims to equip churches to implement and sustain dynamic college ministries whose students worship God and change the world. And we also have Mel here with us doing the mixing. She might interject with a question or two.
You never know.
Yep, you never know. She's always the wild card. Grace, we're here to talk about your story and really God's story of how he saved you. So maybe just kind of kick us off. What was your life like before you knew Jesus? Maybe, I don't know how far back you go, like, with middle school, high school, college. What was it like before you knew Jesus?
Yeah. So I grew up in a Christian home, like with Christian parents, and went to church my whole life. So looking back, I really can't say that there was a time in my life that I didn't know about Jesus or that God wasn't something I thought about in my life and church wasn't a part of my life. Mm-hmm. So I can't really say that there was a time like before I knew about Jesus and believed that God created me, but there was definitely a time that I wasn't living my life like submitted to Christ and actually like loving the Lord, if that answers your question. Mm-hmm. So, like starting when I was younger, I went to church and did all the things and went to Awana and memorized verses and went to Sunday school and...
okay, people don't maybe know what Awana is.
Okay.
Explain what Awana is.
It's like youth group for little kids. So Wednesday night you go and you memorize Bible verses with your leader and then you play games where you run in a circle and knock over pins with bean bags. And yeah.
Great. So some athletics, some fun with friends.
Yes, all the good things.
Memorizing Bible verses.
Mm-hmm,
okay.
Mm-hmm. So I knew a lot about God, and I knew kind of what was expected of me or how other people talked about God and Jesus, but I didn't make it like a conscious part of my life.
Mm-hmm. Sweet. So then in high school, like, what did you give yourself to in high school? What were the things you were most passionate about?
Yeah. In high school, I think I was wrestling with like why Jesus mattered or why God mattered. And like kind of the barrier between me, like giving my life to Christ and actually submitting to what he says was because I just didn't understand why. Like, why would you create me if I'm just going to sin all the time? And like, why would you create a world and let all these bad things happen when you have the power to just make it perfect? Like, I don't understand what the reason for all of this is or why this would matter. And then just all the temptations of the world and not like having a biblical worldview of how to deal with things, in my life. And like, like the worldview that gets pushed of like, be smart and figure it out and try things and figure out who you are and what you want to do. Just had like a lot of sinful things in my life, like that I said yes to, and got into and was a part of that. It's like, well, I have the freedom to do it, and I don't understand, like, why... Like, I don't understand why Jesus would matter or why God matters if all these things are on earth, like, and I have the time to, like, do it and just live my life, like, kind of how I want to. But did all of that, like, fully knowing that God created me, like, fully knowing Jesus died for me, and believing that, but not, like, submitting my life to it.
Got it.
Yeah.
So were there moments of, like, frustration? Like, why did you create me? Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I think I wrestled with that exact question a lot. And that was kind of always on my mind, like being a part of church, being around a lot of Christian people, calling myself a Christian, doing the Christian things, being on a student leadership team, like leading worship in church, like all these things, but still wrestling, with that question.
Did it ever give you moments of like where you felt like permission to sin? Because like, oh, you just know intellectually, Jesus forgave me.
Yeah, and I think like that's a struggle that a lot of kids that grow up in the church has. It's like there was never a time in my life where I wasn't forgiven. And I knew that. Like, there's never been a period in my life like before Christ. Like, I can't say, oh, before I knew about Jesus. Like, my whole life, I've known I'm fully forgiven and fully sinful. Yeah,
I hear you. So how did Jesus change your life?
Yes. So again, wrestling with all of that in like middle school and high school, and leaning on like my own success and like just work hard and you're good at all these things, do it, go to college, you're smart, get a job, work hard, all of those things. So I went to college, and when I got to K-State, my first semester, I found a college ministry to be a part of because I knew I still wanted some kind of like student group in my life for that. I found a church in Manhattan to start going to. And the church I found my first year at K-State, I ended up disagreeing with some of the things theologically that they're kind of big on. And so then my second year at K-State, I started going to Vintage Faith Church, which was just very different than kind of any church I'd been a part of before. And the pastor there, John, just preaches in a way that's very like, it makes things black and white that need to be black and white. And for me coming into that as a college student in a world with a lot of temptations, a lot of freedom, knowing my sins are forgiven, knowing Jesus died for me, but also knowing I have complete free will in the world, and like wrestling with all this, wrestling with being successful and being smart and working hard, and like, how do I live my life in this world? Why would God put me here? Like, honestly, just the way that John preached kind of presented Christianity as something different than I had seen it before, where Christianity is not a metric to measure up to, or not a group to be a part of, or not like a way to live your life. Like, Christianity is the way God designed the world. And like, the reason you do the things is because God is worthy of glory. Like, the reason you do things is because God is worthy of praise. And like, that just hadn't really clicked for me before, I guess. And so, yeah, like, I started going to Vintage Church that year of college, and then have been going there for 2 years now. But kind of just hit like a rock bottom point in my life during school, where like I had made a lot of bad choices, done a lot of things, really feeling like the guilt and the weight of like my sin and like how wretched I am as a human being and all of this. Yeah. And then I don't remember what the message was, but on a Sunday, John said something that just hit me like a train. And basically it boiled down to like, you have two choices. Like, you can either live your life for Jesus Christ or you can't. And like, those are your two options. Like, there is no in between. There's no gray. You don't just get to figure it out. Like, you need to pick. Yeah. And so like, I thought about that and chewed on that, and I was like, yeah, like I actually do want to submit my life to Christ, because I see like the glory of God, and I see what this is about. And so yeah, that just changed the way that I thought about life, the way I thought about my purpose, the way I thought about other people, everything. Yeah. So
it seems like your view of God was maybe pretty small. Like, sounds like, in coming like out of high school, it was like, there's a lot of do's and don'ts. There's like beliefs, but maybe like the actual person of God was not as big in your life. Is that fair to say?
Very accurate. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So then just like, what was it that like, how did that change? How did God become bigger in your life? What was it that like, what aspects of him really came through that made you go, whoa, I never thought of that? Or I don't know. I'm just kind of asking questions off the cuff here.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess it's hard to like put into words.
I have a quick question. When all of that was happening, what's the timeline? So you were in college, so this was like your sophomore year, junior year, that all of this kind of happened?
Yep.
And it kind of clicked that time?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then how did that affect like your college experience from there? Like, how did it change things? Yeah,
I think it changed my life for me, like seeing everything through the lens of Christ versus seeing everything through the lens of myself. Yeah. So like, I'm not going to pick a career that's satisfying to me and makes me feel good, or like I'm suited for, or like my talents work well with. It's like, I want to pick a career that's glorifying to the Lord. And like, I'm not going to get married and have kids just because that's what you do when you're 20 to 30 and that's the next thing. It's like, I'm going to do that for the glory of the Lord. And like, how will my relationships in my life and my friendships, like, not just benefit me or benefit other people, but like, it's all for the glory of Christ. And so I think like that just changed the way I thought about everything in my life. Whereas before, I think like most young adults struggle with purpose and why do I do this? Why am I here? And I knew the answer was like, well, because God created me. But that like wasn't sufficient, because that's not the like entirety of the character of God, right? Like, it's not just because he created you. he did, but he also loves you, and he also sent his son to die for you, and like because of that, he's worthy of living our life for. So yeah, I think like it changed the way I thought about what I was going to do next, how I do the things I do, how I spend my time, and like the significance of how I spend my time, and being able to see everything just, more through the lens of Christ versus the lens of myself or the world. So.
Yeah, that's sweet. It's a big difference when you word it that way.
Yeah.
It very much changes college.
Yeah.
How you look at it.
Yeah. You use the word glorify, what is that? How would you explain that? I just know that's a word we throw around a lot. Glorify God, glorify Christ. What does that mean to you? Like, how to picture it or help explain it?
Yeah, sure. I think like philosophically, it's the baseline reason of why. So like, why do you do the things you do? And like, what's your why that you think of? Is ultimately like for the Lord and to love him better, to glorify him more, to worship him. But then I think the way it shifted in the way that I live my life, like it's not like what can I get away with or what can I do that's not sinful and still fine, or like, how can I play in the gray area? But it's like it's leaving the gray area and being like, if this isn't something that like God created me for, then I shouldn't do it. Yeah. Or if this is something God created me for, like I should work hard at that and I should do that well. Yeah. And so again, like practically wanting my life to look different, but not from an exterior, like putting on a mask or putting up something for other people to see, but like my life actually being different for God. Yeah. And I think that was another big change in college for me was I got really good at that in middle school and high school, growing up in the church, being around Christians all the time, of like being able to put on what other people wanted to see and what I knew I was supposed to look like, but not having my life actually look like that. And so that also shifting, like that's not glorifying to the Lord at all. Like that's a lie. Like that's completely sinful. Yeah. Like like all the things I do in my day and in my time and in my life should be something that like I want to give to the Lord. Like I'd be proud to like show my dad, like even on an earthly standard, like I don't want to do things that I can't tell my dad about and be like, hey, like, look at this. Like, are you proud of me? And how much more so with God? Like, if he knows all 24 hours of our day, like, I don't want things to be a part of that like, I can't take to the Lord and be like, I did this today, So I think, like, living my life more honestly, like, completely honestly. And then as a result of that, like, wanting my life to reflect what I believe. So I want people to be able to look at my life and say that I'm different and say that I live for something that's not me. Not because I'm doing a really good job acting and making them see that, but because like that's my genuine life. Yeah. And that also changed in college because I'd never thought about that before. And never desired that before. And like by the grace of God and his spirit in me, like that's something I actually want now. Yeah. Where I didn't actually want it before. Yeah. And that's nothing I did, obviously. Like that's the Lord like in his grace giving me that. But yeah, like I want to meet freshman girls and like love them well, but also have them be like, why are you like this? Like, you talk about God and like you see good things and like you're positive about life and like talk about church, and I don't want that to be a facade that turns off when I go home. So I think like just all of those things changed in my heart and then started changing in my life. And then I can look in that and say like, that wasn't me, like that was God.
And that's so big because people's inner worlds are just so conflicted oftentimes. Like to think about Christianity sometimes it's like I love how you put it, like you feel like you sometimes have to put on a mask, but Jesus, he wants to transform our inner motives, like our inner lives. And he like rebukes the Pharisees for like not being like whitewashed tombs, He's like you have it's like your life is like the inside of the cup is so dirty, but the outside is so clean. You never want to drink out of it, but you do, And I just love how you described how like Jesus changed your inner world, because that is huge.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people strive for authenticity, but without the gospel, it's like it's really hard.
Yeah, yeah. And I think now, like working in college ministry with college students, as I'm still a young adult, like there's still things I'm struggling with and working on. But again, like the inner motives are different where like I recognize like my sin, or I recognize something that's in me that's of God that's not of me, versus like before, I would say like I submitted my life to the Lord. Like I didn't really have that distinction. Or like if there's a way I'm responding to a situation where I'm agitated and annoyed and whatever, just not good. Like I recognize like, God, this isn't from you. Like, I don't want to feel like this right now. Like, please take this away from me. Whereas before, like I really would double down, and I was 16, 17 and be very pessimistic and angry and I'm right, you're wrong. Just not good ways of responding. Whereas now, like when my heart's inclined towards that because of sin, I recognize it's because of sin. And like my response now is like to ask the Lord to take it. Obviously that doesn't mean I'm perfect or like doing all of those things well, but it's again, just like how I respond to things and my actual like heart is different because of like giving Christ authority over my heart versus keeping my own authority of it. But again, getting to be authentic with that, with girls that I meet up with, people I live my life around, the church that I'm a part of, and still being a young adult and like learning and growing, but doing that even authentically is just a big difference from like, I would say, before like God was actually in charge of my heart, so. It's
amazing, like grace is fuel for living the Christian life. It, like helps you do things you never thought you could, like being honest about your sin. It's like coming to the light can be so scary if we don't understand the grace of God, and that is just a beautiful story how God has changed your inner world. So as you kind of like look forward to the fall, when we put this podcast out there, it's probably going to be, I don't know, somewhere in the middle of the first month of school. Maybe what are you excited for the fall?
I'm just excited to jump into it. I'm super excited to just meet more students, and for me specifically, like meet up with gals and be a part of their life. Like I know how much my life was changed and impacted by people who worked in campus ministry, but ultimately like just loved the Lord and loved other people well. And so I'm excited to get to do that for other people. And also just knowing my own story, like how much my heart was changed in college. I know it's a time that a lot of people are making a lot of choices and thinking about a lot of things and struggling with a lot of things. There's a lot of temptation. There's a lot of sin. There's a lot of worldviews. There's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of motives you can have in college for different things. And so I'm excited to jump into that world and like ask questions and meet people and that are struggling with things that like I know I struggled with. And like God created them the same as God created me, and Jesus died on the cross for them the same as he died for me. And I'm just super excited to like take that to other people. And then also like college is a time, these 4 years of your life, you probably make more decisions in a 4-year period than you'll ever make in another 4-year period of your life. And like I firmly believe that like the gospel needs to be a part of that, and like Jesus needs to be a driving force of how you make those decisions and why you make them. And so I'm also really excited to like get to do work for the Lord in that with where I'm at right now. So.
That's really cool. Well, if you're listening to the podcast, and especially if you feel like Christianity has been a facade for you, I think it'd be our prayer and hope that you would dive into a Christian community where you hear about the love and grace of Christ, and that love and grace would compel maybe you, if you're listening to this, to be real about your sin and your struggles, and let the gift that Christ gives on the cross transform your inner world. And I think we would all say that is a powerful thing. It's amazing. It's a life-changing thing to know God personally like that. So, so thank you so much, Grace, for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thanks for listening. Yeah, and we'll see you at Fall Conference.
Sounds good. I'll be here.
Yeah, great.